However, goat care.
How are your goats? Are they well? Let's get a little help from our vet friend, Dr. Jill, live in Orangevale at her office. Boy, what a beautiful place you live and work, Jill. How nice.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's nice and green. It's fall, going into fall, so it's especially beautiful now. But I want to talk about goats. We have several of them out here that I've rescued. And if you see them wandering around out there, there's one begging at the fence because I gave him a little treat this morning. And they eat just about everything, Paul.
Well, and that's really, that's really the cliche about goats, eating a tin can. But I mean, really, I'm assuming even if they're happy with whatever you give them, you shouldn't give them anything you want, huh?
Right. You can see over here, baby Newton is chomping down on my apricot tree because I let him out. They will get anything close to the ground. And, not necessarily, you're right, they don't eat tin cans, not usually. But they do like a lot of flowers and vegetables and fruits and things of that nature. The one thing that I find that people make the huge mistake of is they give them just grain and they get very fat and overweight. So you want to make sure they graze on some nice green grass. Certainly certain times of the year can be more toxic than others, so check with your veterinarian. Especially some of the spring months, the grass is actually too rich for them and they can become ill.
Okay, what else do we do to keep our goats healthy?
Well, parasite control is number one. You want to make sure to deworm your goats anywhere from 3 to 4 times a year. And I like to rotate their dewormer. Check again with your veterinarian, make sure you're doing the right thing. I also recommend that people do a stool sample check with their veterinarian at least once a year, if not twice a year, to make sure you're catching all the parasites, because not all dewormers catch all parasites, and some of the parasites, certain ones can be more toxic, especially to the young goats.
And Dr. Jill, I know that part of this is timely because more and more people are turning to goats, especially when they've got large properties. Maybe they want to use goats to help maintain the grounds there. Are there ever times of year where the goats should not be used as kind of the lawnmower?
Well, yeah, you definitely need to make sure your yard is fenced in, and they are good at escaping. I want to make sure people know it's nothing to see a goat running down the street here in Orangevale. Somebody's broken out of their gate.
Man.
So, yes, you want to make sure they're great for weed control, but again, certain plants are toxic to goats, so you need to make sure to check and see which ones are on your property that they don't get into them.
And I'm trying to relate goats to animals I'm more familiar with. I got to make sure my cat or my dog is up with their vaccinations. How about goats? Do we have to get goat shots?
They do. They do need vaccines, absolutely. They need a series of vaccines when they're babies and then as well annually. Again, check with your veterinarian what area you live in. Also, there's deworming injections as well. Hoof care is really important, Paul. You want to make sure their hoofs don't overgrow so they can walk and ambulate. And then basic grooming, just like your dog or cat, making sure they don't have lice or fleas or any of the topical parasites, as well as making sure their coats are beautiful.
So really quickly, before we let you go, assuming you have the space and the area, are goats good pets?
Goats are great pets, absolutely. But again, proper enclosure. Keep your dogs away from them unless they're raised with them, because dogs can be very dangerous to pet goats as well. Little Newton here, this is his buddy, his duck friend. They grew up together, so they're best buddies. They hang out. And you can see I have a few sheep, and there's a llama out there, so it's just how you raise them as well. But they do make excellent pets. Great for kids, great responsibility. You do need a little space for them, maybe a barn to keep them up at night so that other animals don't attack them, and they're safe that way.
Okay, I always like how goats are on the highest thing in the yard. They're on top of the doghouse, or they're on top of the rock, or they're on top of whatever. I admire the goats. Thanks very much, Dr. Jill. Always fun to talk to you. And if you would like to schedule an appointment with Dr. Jill, have her check out your goat, hit our website, drjill.com, or give her a call. The number is there on your screen, 916-989-0738.